Okay, so someone asked me to make a shorter video about Gaza. I don't blame you, but it's pretty hard. It's almost impossible to make a short video about this topic, which I was asking the question, what happens now? Okay, well, I'll try to make one real quick right now. But then the details don't come out, so that means of what I'm trying to say. So that means people say, well, why would you say that? Okay, here's one. There's not going to be a war with Iran. Okay, why would you say that? Well, now I have to explain why I would say that. It's just not credible. It's not credible. And, you might get Israel bombing parts of a nuclear facility, which they've done for decades whenever Iran tried to do something nuclear. And I've proposed for years now that America, which is already building molten salt nuclear reactors, which are completely safe, can't be made into weaponry, nuclear bombs, and are cheap, and also you don't get toxic nuclear waste. It's like the best thing that's ever happened in my lifetime in terms of energy production, right? So you can look into it. They're being opened up around the world as we speak. Canada, US is building them. Canada. They have to go through all these protocols because the word nuclear is in there. So it takes many, many years to get through all the safety protocols, but it's perfectly safe. And they can even be put on ships, small nuclear reactors. Google is trying to build some, I believe, for their servers, which take up a massive amount of energy. And so you're going to see that around the world. Canada, US, Britain has built one, I believe. Russia, China is opening some up soon, within the next few years. So, in South Africa, I believe, Japan maybe. So that's the solution. It's just build molten salt nuclear reactors for them, or sell them out. Build it in America, or build the technology, and sell it to Iran. Sell them 100 small nuclear reactors, right? Which are safe. Now that's another topic. But so Israel might try to bomb infrastructure, which they've done in decades past when they saw a nuclear facility being built, and it's part paranoia because the inspectors, the IEAE, I think it's called, so I forget the name for that, but there's international inspectors are in there checking Iran's nuclear facilities, and they say it's safe, it won't become a bomb. Just like in the I believe it was 1980s, Israel bombed a nuclear facility that was being built by France in Iran, and so they bombed it. Israel bombed it, but the inspectors were credible. They said it couldn't possibly be turned into nuclear weapons in decades. It would take decades from the type of technology that they were using to create a bomb. And even if Iran gets a bomb, is that big a deal? There's bombs everywhere, nuclear bombs. Pakistan, India, Iran. I mean, we jumped that shark ages ago. Should have, we're a stupid species. We're probably going to annihilate ourselves, but it's not because of Iran. Maybe because of Israel, because they apparently have nuclear bombs. So there you go. I'll go off on a tangent. How are you supposed to keep this short? So, sorry. I'm glad you asked me, by the way, whoever that was. But just in general, it annoys me that I can't keep this short. But so I think Israel will bomb parts of Iran, maybe, and Trump will just look away. Um, I don't think there's going to be a full scale war. That's what people are yakking about right now. There's going to be they're just yakking. People are in these sort of weird camps on every topic, and they can't think things through. There's not going to be a ground war or a major war against Iran. Period and full stop. Now, if I'm wrong, it's horrendous. But yeah, I'll accept it if I'm wrong. But I hope I don't have to get to that point, because that if there's a full-scale war against Iran like they did against Iraq, then I think we're done. we're done. This stupid species on the third rock from the sun is gone if we're that stupid and we can't talk things through. This antagonism mostly coming from religious points of view, a lot of it. That's what Israel is. It's a Jewish state. They call it that themselves. And then they bring in all these Jews from around the world to take the jobs of the indigenous Jews, the indigenous Palestinians, and businesses and land. So that's a mad country. Mad. By any standard of any other country. You want to do that with your country, right? So whatever country you're in, let's say you're in England, let's bring in all the Germanic type or Anglo type people. What was that called? Caucasian people. From anyone who's Caucasian can come here from around the world. It's mad. And you should think about that if you are English and you are sort of anti-immigrant. Yeah, or American. Let's bring in all the Caucasians from around the world. Anyone who's Caucasian can move to America for free. We'll give you a citizenship. Or maybe you say everyone who is Spanish type, Hispanic, whatever you decide. Good luck with that. If you're against any kind of this immigration issue that keeps coming up, well, Israel is doing that to the people who were originally from there, the indigenous people. So anyway, there's not going to be a full-scale war with Iran. You can ask me questions because I'm trying to keep this short, right? So obviously I'm not going to be able to fill in all the details as to why I think that. Maybe if I only talked about one tiny aspect. The worst thing is, by far, is what's happened in Gaza and the situation there. And you all know, so I won't go over those details, right? But what's going to happen now, you've got global warming. There's a drought going on in that region, in Israel and Gaza and Syria. And I don't think that'll clear up this summer, so this summer's going to be hell. In Syria, they're going to have enough problems as it is. I think Syria is going to be worse. I think it's going to go into sort of a chaos. Israel won't be able to do this thing of expansion and just take over Syria or parts of Syria and Jordan. The whole, what's that called? Greater Israel project that people talk about. That's not going to happen. They can't. I don't think they're strong enough, powerful enough, or the people and the soldiers are willing to keep going like this. I mean, they're mommy's boys. I'm just kidding, but I'm sorry, I just can't. What they've done, Israel has done, Netanyahu has done, is really create a terrible image of themselves. And so Netanyahu himself's just a mummy boy. And daddy's boy, his father was called a terrorist by the British before the Second World War and after the Second World War. Before and after, a terrorist, because he was part of an organisation. He might have been some more scholarly part of it, rewriting history, right? But he was part of a operation or a group of terrorist groups that were killing British military, British police, and British civilians before and after World War II. That's his father, Miłkowski. Netanyahu's real name is Miłkowski. He's Polish or something. He's a Polish mummy's boy, and I'd hope he gets hunted down and taken to court and given a very harsh treatment. That's what I hope. There's nothing, I don't have any humanitarian humanity for him, and I'm a pretty humanitarian person by nature. But even I can forgive a lot of people to some extent, right? But I don't know about Nanya. I don't care. I will not. If I ever care in the future about, oh no, don't kill him just because, don't execute him or something. Yeah, put him in jail for 30 years, yeah. But I wouldn't want to see him. I'm not a person for execution. But I wouldn't care if someone else did it. I wouldn't care much. So that's Gaza. Gaza's going to be a hellhole because of not enough water. The summer's coming. It's there already now, probably. It's going to be hellish. It's a pretty hard place anyway. And I hitchhiked around Israel. I didn't get to Gaza. In 1986, on my own, hitchhiked through the West Bank. Before there were any walls or fences anywhere. Great time I had, great experience. I've talked about that. Ask me about it if you want to know, because it was incredible. It's a different universe. And to me, that's the Israel I would want to go back to, right? One big country, river to sea, a democracy with no reservations in prison camps, giant open-air prison camps. Just one big country, changed the name to a non-sectarian name. One state solution is the only solution, but it's far too late. So, Gaza, ask me questions, because I can't go into all the details of why that would happen, but it's going to be horrible in Gaza this summer. Israel's going to be pretty bad too because of drought and global warming. Maybe that'll change, some magic rain that doesn't cause floods. And Syria will be in bad shape too. There won't be a major war with Iran. So those are my predictions, and I've already gone too long again, but trying to think what else. I think Trump will slowly disengage or even criticize Giuliani in Syria and Syria itself. I think there'll be no grand rebuilding project of Gaza where America and Qatar and Saudi Arabia rebuild it, because they'd have to push Israel aside and push Israel out. There's no cooperation or us believing that Israel will have a ceasefire and then we can all go in and help the Gazans. There's no cooperation. They cannot be trusted. They've proved that 1,000 times at this point, just in the last few years. They've proven that. They cannot be trusted in ceasefire situations. So you'll need a military to push them aside. So get out of the way. We're fixing this. We're feeding the people. But it's too late. I mean, I don't think... future generations of Gazans might be sort of happy that someone did that. But it will take generations for this festering sore in the Middle East to pan out. And I remember that video of that one young Palestinian teenager or something, man, and his whole family had been killed in a bomb. This is last year, I think. And he comes out and he says, so people are saying this is all Pallywood, they call it. It's even if it is, it doesn't matter. He comes out, it's a symbol. He comes out and he says, Gaza is like a circle and the whole world revolves around it, or something like that, right? You probably remember it if you've been paying attention. His whole family had been bombed. He was walking around in the rubble, and basically he's really angry. Obviously, he's probably, who knows where he is now, but that was a symbol to me, because that is a sort of a black hole into which the whole world could get sucked if the whole world, and I'm angry here because China, Russia, they can't do much, I know, but something has to happen now. There's no excuses. America, Trump, who has said some conciliatory things, he has to follow through in that with help from Russia, China. Don't bother with Europe. Maybe Ireland can get involved because they have stood up. But that's all. An international rescue mission is all that will work now. Otherwise, Israel will go into collapse. Gaza will be a hellhole that the human race will never wash off.